Good morning from St. Louis Street in downtown New Orleans, Louisiana. We were due to get the ferry across this morning, but due to the fog, that wasn't actually running, so we took the 100 bus from Algiers Point to Canal Street. And now we're going to go to this place behind me where you can see people queuing up. And that's the New Orleans School of Cooking. So we're going to go in there, we're going to learn to cook some local cuisine, some local traditions like jambalaya and gumbo and things like that. I think we've got a couple of set items that we're due to cook. So we're gonna head in there right now.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Is that for luck?
I don't know.
Hey, how are you? That's okay. Yep. Everybody tried it?
As you've seen, we made it inside, we've checked in for our cooking class. We've got about 15 minutes or so before we actually go inside and begin cooking. And in the shop here, they're giving out some praline or praline, as they pronounce it over here, which they're actually making right here, as you saw. So we've got a few pieces here. So this one here, I'm pointing to with my thumb, that's vanilla. And then we've got chocolate here. So let's give the chocolate one a try. It's soft and crumbly. We've got the peanuts in there. Pecans. Yeah, chocolate. Very nice. Move on to the vanilla. So it's got a similar texture to like fudge, like the crumbly fudge that you get. It's quite crumbly texture to it. Lots of peanuts in there. So if you're allergic to peanuts, obviously not going to be the most ideal thing. But well, as you can see, I'm still eating it, so it's nice. I'll just show you, she's over here making it at the moment. So she's boiled that up, reduced it down, and as she's spooning it out at the moment, that'll cool off and become a flat patty, basically. We're heading in there in a few minutes to start our cooking. We've been called into our classroom now. We've got the main demonstration table right in front of us. It's quite a large room, fully packed in today. So we're going to be cooking. Here we've got our ingredient list and the recipe. So we've got gumbo, we've got jambalaya, white chocolate bread pudding. I'm quite excited for that one.
No, you'll see.
And finally we've got some pralines. So it looks like we're starting now.
First off, we are a rather large class. We always said it in French, money. And she had stale bread, and she didn't have like grits cooked. Normally we had grits every morning, but if she didn't have grits cooked, or we didn't have oatmeal, we had at school though. She would take that stale bread and crunch it up a little bit, and then put cold milk and sugar on top. And she said, "There's your bowl of cereal." If she didn't feel like doing the bread, she'd pull a packet of saltine crackers out, do the same thing. Anybody had saltine crackers, sugar, and milk? I can eat that as a meal. Now what I'm going to do is, now that I got a little bit of moisture in this, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add my sugar. Now you add as much sugar as you want. My recipe is bigger than your recipe. Remember that. Now we're going to go to cinnamon and nutmeg. How much cinnamon on your recipe?
As much as I want.
How much?
As much as I want.
Good, I like that. Good. À tout le monde va pouvoir penser, levez-les la main. I'm Mon. I'm the only one in this building that speaks French. Because I grew up speaking French with my grandparents. Look, my grandparents were born, my grandmother was born in 26, and my grandfather was born in 25. Their first language was French. My great-grandmother, when I was a really small child, only spoke French. Okay, now normally, anybody make a Ruby before? You know, when you make like a white roux, for instance, it takes a while to get it golden. Look how golden this color is. It's starting to turn creamish color. That's because we got that hole. I always tell you, just because the recipe says you got 2 bay leaves in the pot, if you got bay leaves that small, you're going to need more than 2. Look at this roux. Not dark enough yet. I'm going to show you something very, 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 very important. Why we made the roux so dark in Louisiana is because of the magic thing about roux is never the color it looks when it dries. Can you imagine if you made roux that color? Let's see what you have. That's why we make it so dark. Oh, I learned y'all something about important, didn't I?
So this is the gumbo that he's just been making. So we got some chicken, we've got some andouille sausage, we've got the roux in there, and the spring onions, the parsley.
Once the chicken is roasted, I take it out and let it cook.
This is very rich, full-bodied flavour, quite salty. Yeah, smoky flavour. And we've got some beer here to go along with it.
Up until we started blackening redfish, the only people that ate redfish were down to bite it. Because redfish is a trash fish. Nobody wanted to eat that. It's trash fish. When he blackened it, that created a whole new ballgame. When Paul first created the recipe, it became such a demanding dish that the state of Louisiana had to start a season to break up the redfish because we were fishing the species out to make blackened redfish. The restaurants were taking in so much redfish and we almost fished it out. They have done that in some parts of Florida. You cannot even get redfish in certain areas of Florida because they fished it all out. So Louisiana put what we call a season in place. In other words, you do this part of the year you go redfish, this part of the year you go drum. This part of the year you go redfish, this part of the year you go drum. During drum season, them ones on that water, when they catch you with a redfish, you're going to pay a big fine. And however many you got, that fine goes up.
Here we've got the jambalaya that he's just been making. You've got the sausage, you've got chicken inside, you've got your rice. Chicken stock's being used as well. And he's browned it up in the pan for that time. Let's give it a try. I don't think this has got as much flavour as the gumbo. Yeah, I suppose so. More garlic. So. The final dish that we've got here is our bread pudding with rum sauce. We've got the strawberries. Bread pudding itself is very different to the UK and English bread pudding, but this was baked at the very beginning. Still warm. I think you can taste the cinnamon in there.
I'm glad we got it.
You can definitely taste the cinnamon in there. Nice and caramelised on top. We've got strawberries to go along with it as well.
First one up on 2 for guys and the ladies' bathroom on 3. They have an elevator.
Alright y'all, we just finished up in the New Orleans School of Cooking. It was a little bit different to what I said originally, what I thought it was. We weren't actually doing the cooking. That's what I thought we were going to be doing. Thinking about it after, it's actually a better way to do it this way because he gave us the ways that he would do it, as opposed to sticking to, you know, step-by-step recipe card, which we could do at home. So we actually tasted it, how he would make it, how he would do it at his house, thereabouts. Pretty cool experience. £65 for both of us, which is about $85 at current exchange rate. And I think it was a good experience. We were in there for 2.5 hours. So we tried gumbo, tried jambalaya. He made the bread pudding at the start and then had it cooked throughout, so you knew it was fresh. And then we had pralines, however you want to pronounce it, at the end. So I think all in all it was pretty good. And I think we're pretty full at this point. We've had the gumbo, we've had the jambalaya. Jambalaya is rice, so that fills us up anyway. Just the atmosphere is very good. It was like a folklore type thing, giving us all stories from the youth and things like that, and it was just a pretty cool experience. So if you can get out here and do it, New Orleans School of Cooking, check it out. Now we're gonna head to Carousel Bar, which Becky's been wanting to go to for the past few days. There's a bar, basically a revolving bar. So we're gonna go there, check it out, have a couple of drinks. Then we've got something pretty cool planned for this evening as well. So can have a good time. We're now in the Carousel Bar and Lounge at the Monteleone in New Orleans. Had a couple of drinks. The idea of the bar, the seating area is moving. It's set on a carousel, and the actual bar portion is standing still. So Becky's ordered here a pina colada, and I've ordered a tin cup milk punch, and these are going for about between $15 and $20 a piece. See the bar itself. So we're just talking to the bartender, and this has just recently been in NCIS as well as a few other films and TV productions. So pretty cool bar overall. So we finished up the Carousel Bar, had a couple of drinks there. It was $33 including tip. We left 10% tip. Over here the suggested tip is like 18 to 20%, but it's difficult because back in the UK like 15% is very generous, 10% is the standard. So we're going with 10%. We'll call it at that. What we're going to do now is something a little bit different, and just behind me the sign just here that you see, and that's the New Orleans Historical Voodoo Museum. We're going to go in there, see some voodoo artifacts, some maybe shrunken heads, alligators, dolls, that kind of thing, and see what the voodoo culture is about. And this will tie in very nicely with what we're going to be doing later. Bit of a cemetery voodoo kind of tour later on this evening. So we'll hop inside. We've already paid for this. It was $8 per person plus tax, so it worked out to be roughly about $18.5 for both of us. It was 2 rooms. Honestly, it wasn't, I don't think it was worth the amount that we paid for it. It was probably worth a few dollars, between $3 and $5 per person, plus tax. I think that would be fair. As I said, it was two rooms. Not a lot in there, but it was good to get a view of what that culture is and what it's about. So I do suggest checking it out if you're here, because that's what the area is about and that's what their heritage is. But I guess be prepared that it's not going to be what you're expecting for the price that you're paying. Now we've made it up to the French market. This is pretty much just on the waterfront, and as it says, it's a market, a lot of handmade goods. We've got some food stalls and such, paintings. A lot of food stands, and then as you go in, it starts to open up a bit, and you got all your touristy Mardi Gras t-shirts and things like that. A lot of the stuff that you wouldn't necessarily buy back home. And in here you can pretty much haggle with everything, barter everything. So it's a good place to come and do your souvenir shopping. Some alligator heads. The small one's $10. Goes up to $14. We saw a beignet stand, and so these ones in particular are chocolate beignets. They did praline beignets and king cake beignets as well, and these set us back about $7. You get a portion of free beignets. They look slightly different to the traditional beignets, more puffy, like with puff pastry. But we'll give them a try. We got a few places around here, Café du Monde, Café Beignet, that do similar things. They're actually cheaper in those places, but this is like a local business, so we'll give it a bit of business. See how it can go. Just down here, like probably about 2 blocks, that is the French market. Just on the corner here, that's Café du Monde, so this is the famous coffee stand, beignet house. We're here opposite Jackson Square. So as we turn around, we've got the Mississippi River behind us. The place that we're going to eat tonight is Mulati's, and this is down right opposite the New Orleans Convention Center and opposite the Riverwalk Outlets shopping center. Quite a fishy menu, quite a Louisiana staple dish menu. So yeah, you've got your catfish, you've got your shrimp, your seafood platter, all your Cajun dishes. I'm probably going to go for the grilled farmer's market chicken breast. That comes on top of jambalaya and coleslaw and things like that. Not a big fish person myself, but you know, I will try it. Becky's gonna have the shrimp platter. That'll be butterflied shrimp, Cajun seasoned and golden fried. And that'll come with, you know, your fries, your coleslaw, that kind of thing. So you got your side items in there. Neat little touch that they've got with the drinks menu. The drinks menu is actually shaped like the state of Louisiana, which is pretty cute, pretty cool. And we've just had Coke and a glass of water. But the Coke, I mean, for comparison, my hand, it's like, it's a bucket, basically. So, yeah, when we asked for a pint of Coke back in the UK, that's definitely a pint and a half. Give you a little bit of an overview of the place itself. So it's quite cute. It's like a diner style area. The kitchen is just back there through those doors. We've got a bar just here behind us. Actually, at the end where you see the mural and the name Mulati's, that's actually a stage as well. So they'll be having, you know, jazz, folk, blues music going on at the stage as well. So it's quite a cute little area. We've had this recommended to us by a few websites. You know, the top things to do in New Orleans and things like that, so pretty cool. Yeah, it should be good. Looking forward to trying some of the dishes and see what they're like. These are the dishes that we've got. So this is Becky's fried shrimp. So I can see they're wholetail shrimp, Yeah, completely fried. You got a portion of coleslaw and fries with them, as well as a lemon to squirt over the top. Got a couple of sauces with it. This looks like tartar sauce, and we think this is like a chili, sweet and sour type sauce. I'm not going to be trying these, but it looks like, you know, it's hotel shrimp. You know what hotel? Okay. All right, Becky's going to try it. Nice, fresh.
Soft.
All right, so fresh and soft. They're fried well. They're not overdone.
Yeah, no. And the seasoning on the batter's really nice.
Okay, good. Yeah, so they look good. They look nice and fluffy. The breading looks good. So, and gosh, she got a smile on her face. So there you go. So I've gone for the chicken breast. I had it Cajun style, so we got the Cajun spice on here, on top of jambalaya. Again with coleslaw, and we got some mushrooms and onion mixed in there. Cut into the chicken, we got the Cajun spices on here. Nice. Chicken's a bit dry, a little bit dry, but the flavours are good. Sorry, with the onions as well. Onions and mushrooms are nice. It's a little bit cold, a little bit dry. As we came in, there was a table of probably about 40 people behind us. It's quite loud in here. Maybe that's one of the reasons. Sorry, it keeps going out of focus. Try the jambalaya as well. That's hot. That's baking hot. That's nice. Sticky rice as well. Good flavour. Got the sausage in there, the chicken in there. Spices. This is good. So mine was, the base dish was $19.99 plus tax. We got I got Cajun style, which is an extra $2, and Becky's portion was $22.99 plus tax. So really, I mean, shrimp is expensive anyway, so the portion size that she's getting there for $22 is fantastic. My portion size, I'm pretty happy with the portion size on this as well. The food tastes nice. As I said, the chicken's a little bit cold and dry, but we've got a lot of people that have just come in here, so that's probably why. So the final piece of the puzzle we've got here is a no-bake cheesecake with your blueberry compote. So it's really good. Really, really good. It's like a thick mousse on top of a very crumbly biscuit base. Having the berry in there as well really breaks it up. It's quite sweet, very sugary. Very like gelatin type flavour to it, so I can imagine it's got gelatin in there. Probably wouldn't be suitable for vegetarians. But if I'm honest, a lot of the food in New Orleans isn't suitable for vegetarians or vegans anyway. It's overpriced. Very expensive, it's $9.99. If you want to add ice cream to that, it's an extra $3.75. It'd be good if it was about $4 cheaper. I think that would be ideal price in there. The food was good, but I think especially the dessert, that was definitely overpriced for what we got here. Just finished in the Mulati's restaurant. Just over the road from it now. It's this white building, and the red building is actually attached to it as well. I think the red building is the bar, and then the white building is the restaurant itself. Some thoughts on the food. The food was really nice. It was really well cooked. As I got a little bit further into the chicken, it wasn't as dry. I think that was just around the edges of the chicken were a little bit dry. Like I said, they did have a couple of large groups in. They came in just after us, so I can imagine, you know, the mentality is they're going to be focusing on these guys a little bit more because they ordered pretty much moments after we ordered. The portion sizes were fantastic for the price. I think we could have got away with having maybe mine between the both of us, or if Becky's had had more chips, we could have had that between the two of us. The portion sizes in the US are always a little bit bigger anyway. The cheesecake there that we had at the end was, again, massive portion size. It's twice the size of the cheesecake you'd get in a restaurant in the UK and somewhere like Ask or Strada or something like that. And I think, you know, it was $10 for the cheesecake, an extra $3.75 for the for ice cream on the cheesecake, which we didn't get. Does add up, but you know, that's £7, $7.50 maybe, which is a little bit more expensive than what you'd pay over in the UK. But as I said, the portion size is twice what you get in the UK. So overall, I think like I said, the bill was just shy of $65. No, it was a good meal. It was a good meal overall. I think they were rushing to get us out a little bit at the end. They came and put the check on the table without us asking for it, things like that. Not too keen on, you know, especially when you're spending $70 on a meal. It's nicer if they just leave you be and let you ask for the check in your own time. But overall, I think pretty good experience, good food, good portion size. Food's cooked very well. I think we had a pretty good time. Alright, so I mentioned we're doing something a little bit special tonight. And what that is a Ghost Adventures tour. Now we're here on Decatur Street in New Orleans. It's basically the street that Jackson Square's on, right along the Mississippi River. We're outside Landry's at the moment, so pretty central. We're just around the corner from Cafe Du Monde, Cafe Beignet, things like that, and right opposite Jackson Square, sorry. So what we're going to do tonight is go on a Ghost Adventures tour. We're going to go around about the downtown New Orleans area. Get out at the first stop. We're actually going to go into a cemetery. The tour for two of us was $46.60. That's pounds. So £23, 30 pence per person. Works out roughly about $28 per person. We're going to get out on the coach, go around a little while. As I said, stop off in the cemetery. Our second stop will be a bar, and then we'll see where we go from there. We're going to have stories, things about voodoo culture, and you know, there's just a history of people that have died here essentially. We go through some pretty creepy areas, I can imagine.
Watch hangings. Like, did anybody's dad have the belt when you were a kid? Yeah, imagine if dad had the public noose. Okay, like that's much bigger of a threat. Now, men were executed right there for about 100 years, pretty consistently. Now, the deadliest day that ever happened actually was when the Americans took over. A couple of very big days happened. The first big interesting one happens once the Spanish actually take over, because the Spanish didn't take this city seriously. Remember how it's like French, Spanish, French, Spanish? They're playing keep away from England. They're passing it back and forth, making sure England doesn't get more of the territory, right? That's all it is. So when the second time the Spanish have the city, they had it 42 years, but it took 8 years for their governor to get here. Governor Aloha, first dude, didn't even show up. They sent him a letter every 3 months. Where you at? What's going on? He's like, yeah, I'm just getting out of the shower. My Uber's on the way.
So we've made it out to this cemetery, and basically we've had an explanation of the burial process for the various ethnicities and things like that, why it's done like this, why it's in a tomb as opposed to cremation or burial, things like that. So what he was essentially saying is you'd put somebody on the top shelf, that they'd be in that place for 1 year, they'd decompose, and then the remains would be taken down to the next shelf. Next person goes in 1 year down to the bottom shelf because they're decomposed in that year, and essentially you can have, you know, up to 50-60 people in each tomb. The reason for this was because of the mass flooding and the fact that New Orleans is 3 feet below the water table, below sea level essentially. It's to stop bodies from washing up and floating down the river, floating down the streets. Some of the flatter tombs that you have were for potentially money reasons and things like that, and varying other reasons. So it's quite an interesting tour that we've had so far, and we're going to get back on the bus now. So we're at the midway stop on our Ghost Adventures tour. We're at this bar here called Vessel. So just hop over the road so you get a wider angle shot, and you see what the bar looks like. It's a 100-year-old church essentially. We just had a cocktail inside. I'll chuck in a couple of pictures of it now. Pretty cool. So we've just come out of the Charity Hospital Cemetery, and this is a Katrina memorial. There's an unmarked tomb there, essentially for 108 people, I believe the count was. It's a memorial to Katrina. It's actually also on the front of the mass grave. Pretty much final stop on the tour now. The place we've got behind us is the mansion from American Horror Stories, Covenant. Pretty cool. It's where Angela Bassett, Emma Roberts and stars would have been filming American Horror Story, so it's pretty cool. It's the biggest house in the Garden District in New Orleans. Sorry for the pretty abrupt, broken nature of the videos there. We just got back to the hotel after finishing our ghost tour. Took an Uber back because there's no ferries at this time of night. It's 5 to 11 now. I think the ferries stop around 9, 9:30, so we didn't have a lot of choice but to get an Uber back. That's $20 plus. We just wanted to go over the Ghost Adventures tour. We had a guide called DJ, our bus driver was Melvin. Both of them were fantastic. Melvin, obviously, being a bus driver, he doesn't really say a lot, but you know, we're alive, always a good sign. The tour guide, DJ, was fantastic. He's very enthusiastic, very knowledgeable, and did a much more factual based tour as opposed to the standard, you know, spiel on hocus pocus effectively. So we went and saw a number of cemeteries, which I've shown you guys a little bit of footage. Again, apologies, it's a little bit broken up. And he explained to us the reasons why they bury them in tombs as opposed to burying them in the ground, the reasons for the tombs and the layout and such. And we went to the Katrina Memorial Cemetery, and this is effectively where they'd be burying the unknowns, for lack of a better term. People that were unidentified at the end of Hurricane Katrina. Now that could be due to a number of reasons. Potentially they could have been from Katrina, they could have been homeless, they could have been before Katrina, a month, 2 months before, or potentially they could have been years before, and they've, due to the 8-9 feet of flooding that they had, they've washed up and floated down the streets essentially. So that was very cool. It kind of hits home how bad some of the, you know, natural disasters are that they've had over here. Katrina, yellow fever he was talking about as well, which killed thousands and thousands of people, number of fires over the years, and we just don't have that in the UK really, at least in recent history. Now obviously our history dates back far longer than a lot of the history across the rest of the world. We can date things back to, you know, 1000 BC and things like that, but these, what he was talking about, were happening in the past few hundred years. So it's very, very strange. Definitely worth going on the tour. As I said at the beginning, it cost us £46 for the both of us. It was a 2-hour tour. Went around on a bus, a number of cemeteries, things like that. The final place we visited, it was actually a filming location. He gave us a bit of background on it, but it was essentially the Covenant house from American Horror Story, and so that's it's quite a famous house that it was filmed in here. And he was saying it's $5,000 per night to rent it out, with a 5-night minimum stay, things like that. If you want to film there, it's 100k. Pretty crazy. But there's many pictures of it online. Obviously, due to the filming, you can have a look at images from inside, outside, all sorts. So, pretty cool. And we've had a very good day. We did our cooking class in the morning. We went to the Voodoo Museum, which was pretty disappointing. Wasn't necessarily worth the money. Went to a carousel bar. Had a walk around the French market. Had some beignets there. Just checking it out. And then had dinner at Mulate's, which was really well cooked. Good portions. Pretty expensive when it came to a couple of parts, and then our Ghost Adventure tour. So all in all, pretty awesome day. So if you've enjoyed following along with us, yeah, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when we post a new video, and yeah, we'll see you on the other side.